Good morning and welcome to the final day of this penultimate week of the current academic year. It seems very strange saying that. For the length of time we've either been in lockdown or gone through phase after phase of returning to school in whatever form it has taken. In one sense, we are finally there, and in another sense, we are very much looking forward to September for a return to some more normality and something which certainly feels a little bit more like Northlands Wood School. However, I've got lots to share with you today. The first thing I want to say is, as I walked into school this morning, our stone snake is looking very impressive. I think we are 3 or 4 stones away from it reaching the end of the first stretch of wall. So if you have got any stones at home that you've painted and want to bring in, please do that in the next couple of days. We'll then be taking the stones inside over summer. They'll be getting a nice varnish to give them a good glossy finish and to allow them to last a little longer. And then we'll be looking to put them out in September again for further additions, which I'm sure you will all be doing over the summer as you visit any beaches or indeed get hold of any stones that you want to add. So that's the first thing to say. The second thing is I have been informed that there is likely to be another fly past today. Certainly there's a Spitfire and Hurricane that are heading down to Ditchling for where Dame Vera Lynn indeed lived, and then heading down to Brighton. So we might see that, and I think that is passing over Ditchling around midday. So if you keep your eyes peeled from about maybe 11:50, you might well see some of our prestigious aircraft flying above the skies. The next thing I wanted to share again, Seesaw. Many of you have made exceptional use of that over lockdown, and now is the time to start looking at maybe saving and downloading those journals and as much as you can from the children. That's simply a case of going to your child's journal. There's a plus symbol or a download symbol and save it as a PDF onto your system. So that's something you can do before we archive those journals and then start afresh in September. Reports, a number of parents have spoken to me about just what reports are looking like this year. As you know, there was something that went out right back in March or April time saying that we weren't in a position to be delivering end of year reports as we ordinarily do, something that you're all in agreement that just wouldn't work in the current situation. And indeed, what you have access to via your Arbor portal as parents and indeed through Seesaw will give you the best measure of how your child is getting on, both in terms of their attendance prior to lockdown and indeed the sort of work they're doing and the feedback they're receiving from staff. We will, however, in September and October, be looking at what we can complement that with, because we are very aware and acutely aware that parents and rightly so, want to know where their child is at in terms of the expectations being met of particular year groups. So in October, we will be looking at sending something home to parents which gives an indication of how that child or your child is getting on based on how they have reintegrated into their new year group. And whether or not they are accessing that new curriculum and the level at which they are, and indeed the areas that they may still need some extra work on in the year previous, so their current year at the moment. This will then be followed up by a parent consultation, which as things stand is looking likely to be via an online platform of some description, a bit like a virtual parents' evening, one might say. So that's where we're up to with that, and hopefully that will work for our families, and certainly by October give a really good knowledge to all the parents as to where their children are at. Arrangements are coming out later today for the start of school back in September. So September, Monday 7th of September is when all our children are welcome back in. So those arrangements will go out today. So look in those in your inbox, and lots of pages to read, lots of documentation, but hopefully that will answer a lot of questions And then that will be followed up by next week, some social stories coming out, which our inclusion team are busily putting together at the moment, and they will further aid discussions and conversations you have as a family. So there you go, a whistle-stop tour of some of the things we've been working on. I had governors last night, and myself and the governors talked in depth about all the things I've shared with you just now, and indeed some of the risk assessments we've been putting in place in preparation for September. So a very positive and productive meeting, lots there that we digested and talked about as we do move into the last few days of term. So thank you again. Have a great Free Choice Friday. Make sure you get up lots of nice things you do. And if you hear this and listen to this before you come to school this morning, for those children that are, it is definitely a jumper and coat day. As I say to my boys, it's a little bit chilly in the air at the moment at 7 o'clock. It may have warmed up a little bit by the time you come in a couple of hours, but as things stand, it's definitely a jumper and coat. So children, listen to your parents and get dressed properly. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye for now.